Now we'll see India's activities. India is aspiring to be a global power. So let's say India's activities, which are not really a bilateral measure, but as to show its activity as a global power and for its extension of different activities. So first region that we look at is polar region. Now, why are we looking at polar region? Recently, India changed the name of National Center for Antarctic and Ocean Research into National Center for Polar and Ocean Research. What is the importance of changing the name? Because until now, India used to focus its research activities in Antarctica. India have three major research bases in Antarctica: the Dakshin Gangotri, Maitri, and Bharati. Dakshin Gangotri is almost out of date, and we have actually two um, bases in Antarctica. This was our focus largely. We used to focus only on Antarctica. Now what happened is, with global warming and all, different other regions, snow-capped regions in the world has also opened up. For example, in Arctic regions, which is very difficult to reach to the inside part of Arctic we are able to reach. So we cannot now just restrict our name to Antarctic. So we have changed our name into polar from Antarctic to polar. So now, since this has been in news, and even in UPSC mains, there has been a question with regard to this opening up of polar regions and what the relevance of it. Because once polar region has one of the largest reserves of oil and gas. So once this global warming is opening the ways, all countries are sending its vessels and trying to explore the region and try to claim the region and take up the resources. So India is also, first they will have to do research before you start mining the resources. So all countries are spreading their wings. So India is also following the same channel. So let's get familiarized with what are the India's activities in Antarctica, what are India's activities in Arctic, and what are India's activity in other snow-capped region, that is Himalaya. Three regions India has, and what are its activities. So in Antarctica, as I said, there is Dakshin Gangotri, there is Maitri, and there is Bharati. If you look at Antarctica now, again, this is a mapping, small mapping, except you can take the Antarctic region, you can take up the map. You can see that there are certain regions that has been in news last year also. If you remember, you can begin by looking at this Ross Sea. Last year also this was in news because this is world's largest marine protected area. You know what is protected area? National park, bioreserve, etc. are protected areas. Ross Sea is considered to be world's largest marine protected area, that is in Antarctica, and there is Ross ice shelf. This is the largest ice shelf that is in Antarctica. Why ice shelves are important? Because the reduction in the size of ice shelves are in use, and just remember, Ross ice shelf is the largest ice shelf that you can have in Antarctica. And now let's get closer to these different research stations of India. As I said, Dakshin Gangotri is almost outdated. We have Maitri, Maitri research base, and there is a lake known as Priyadarshini there. Just remember the name Priyadarshini Lake, and there is a project running there known as MADIS. MADIS is a project that will be again given in the material, details will be given, but the idea of classes are to connect all the topics. There are a lot of information available outside. The CAP classes are focusing to connect this information and make sense so that you can learn in a very effective manner. So when you learn, whenever you learn Maitri, remember the two terms. There is Priyadarshini Lake there is a MADIS project running. What is MADIS project? It is actually looking at this area known as, this region known as, you can see, drowning mouth land. The words are not clear. But again, that will be given in detail in the material. Drowning mouth land is actually an area that is claimed by Norway. You must know Norway is in upper northern region, but again it is claiming a region in Antarctica known as Drowning Mount Land, and our Maitri research base is located in this place. And in collaboration with Norwegian Science Institute, India is conducting a observation project. It's actually observing the reduction of ice shelves here, the size of ice, reduction of ice due to the global warming, and that 4-year project is known as MADIS project. That has been in news. That's why I'm just highlighting that also. So with regard to, it's near the Maitri research base of India. Just remember that information. And we have Bharati research base, and this is located near a landmark known as Lashman Hills. This has been again in news because India had to cut through different mechanisms to build this base. It has been constructed in 2012. So that has been also in use. Just be comfortable with the terms Maitri and Bharati. Remember there are like two sisters, Maitri and Bharati. Sorry? Bharati is located, both are in Antarctica. Yeah. Bharati and Maitri. Yeah. Okay. Larsemann Hills. Sorry. Larsemann Hills. This that's a small location that is considered to be. And Rothschild have said, and there is a small, this is irrelevant, but still for your general knowledge, there is known as something known as Vinson Massif, that is the highest peak in Antarctica. That will be some, if you look at Antarctica, this will be the key takeaways that Ross Sea was important last year, Ross Ice Shelf was important last year. This is India's, and remember MADIS project. That will be the most information that we can, any question that we can probably come from Antarctica will be this. Going forward to Arctic region, in Arctic, India, if you look at last year or the year before, there was a question called INDARC. 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 INDARC was a project that was being run by India in Arctic region. Actually, it used to, what happened is, it was a under the sea observatory. India used to keep different measurement instruments under the Arctic Ocean to see what is the variations in the sea temperature happening, and to connect that with any possible changes in the monsoon. So that was a project known as INDARC project that India used to run in the Arctic region. Sorry, this went to Arctic Council. I'm sorry. INDARC, that is being in Arctic. And another, recently India has started a base there also known as Himadri. Himadri is the base that has been started there. Now, if you remember, whenever you say Arctic, it's not really, it's not as accessible. It's accessible, but it's difficult to build bases in Arctic region, unlike in Antarctic region. So, India is actually depending on a small island in Norway known as Svalbard. It's actually G, I think. It's in Svalbard is a small island. This was again in news because last year I remember there was a vault being built here. There's a vault means they made a storehouse of all seeds that is present in the world in this island known as Svalbard vault. In case some asteroid come or some meteor collapse happens and the whole world something happens, they to avoid such catastrophes, to save seeds of different plants during such catastrophes, they have started a vault here. So even India's research bases are located in Svalbard. Both Himadri and INDARC are located here. And even for larger GK purpose, India's world's northernmost town is located in South. That's a furthest point that you can go. So remember, that's a different island. Norway is here. It is being separated from Norway. Svalbard island is there. That is information with regard to Arctic. Two research bases in Arctic. One is Himadri and other is INDARC. INDARC is like they keep under the sea, they keep monitors and measure what's happening with regard to Arctic Ocean. Another research station is Himanch. Himanch is in Himalaya. So just don't get confused between Himanch and Himadri. Himanch is in Himalaya. Himadri is in Arctic region. These are different India's initiative that is happening with regard to snow-capped or polar regions around the world. Going further, now with regard to this, there was questions regarding Arctic Council. So we'll just cover, since we went to Arctic, we'll cover Arctic Council also. So as we said, whenever you study an organization, we need to cover the one thing that you should look at is what is the fundamental purpose of creation of this particular organization. For example, a Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the fundamental crux of that organization is military activity. It was military activity. When it started, it was primarily focusing as a counter to NATO. So it's fundamentally of military nature. At the same time, look at Arctic Council. It has no military nature. It's fundamental. It's actually a forum to kind of protect and control the activities around this area and to ensure the conservation of the area. So it has no military connotation. So UPSC can put a question. The Arctic Council has been providing military assistance against invasion of Arctic region, etc., etc. Remember, it has. So that is a fundamental. Every organization will have a fundamental distinguishing feature. For example, G20. It looks as ensuring international financial economic stability. That's a fundamental function. There are other functions so it will not go around investing money like World Bank or any other organization. So every organization, remember one fundamental feature. Other activities will definitely be there, but remember this feature. So here, this is actually an intergovernmental forum, Arctic Council, It's a forum only, no binding agreements, no binding rules, no particular guidelines. But remember, only Arctic countries can become members of this nation. So even India went around, and India is only a permanent observer in the Arctic Council. India can never become a member of it because only Arctic countries, there are 8 such countries. 8 countries are like Nordic countries. What are the Nordic countries? So if you take up your map, you can just get comfortable with what are the Nordic countries.